What is going on, guys? I want to talk today about why the map is not the territory and what that means. So when we're talking about reality and how we navigate through this world, we have a lot of shortcuts, right? Mental notes, for example, you're always putting the same shoe on first every morning, every day that you put your shoe on. That's just the same one. Now that you think about it, you'll notice some other habits that you have. Like you don't think about brushing your teeth. You have a pattern for that, right? So you just execute. So we have all these maps that we overlay on top of each other and on top of reality. So that way we can, for one, keep ourselves safe. That's the most important thing. And then for two, we can navigate efficiently through this space. And so what I want to talk today about is how the map is not the territory. And what that means is the map is what we're seeing, what we're believing, but it's not what's actually happening, right? And so it takes, for me, every time I travel, I notice this massively. And so I really see like, oh, well, that's different, right? I went and bought some eggs at the supermarket and they didn't come in a carton. I wanted 6 of them. And I don't even recall how I brought them over to the register, but brought them over and she asked me, do you want a bag to put my eggs in? Like literally I'm putting all my eggs in one bag and precariously gonna, ride a bicycle or walk home with eggs hanging in a plastic bag. So something you would never see, or I can't imagine seeing it in the States. But that's just the way it's done. The eggs come on this big pallet. I'm sure you've seen these where I don't know if they're 12 by 12, so 144 eggs, but regardless, the map is not the territory. So what else is it that we have a map of that's not accurate? Or what's another good example? So back before Google Maps, when we're driving around, we're literally picking up a map and looking at it and going through streets. Well, maps are useful, but they're not always right. Most of the time they're right, but a map is not going to be able to predict construction, for example, or a closed road. Google Maps, that's a little bit different because there's an algorithm behind that, but regardless. So this structure of this map that we have, the map isn't real life, right? The map is a useful tool to allow you to navigate through physical space. But the map itself isn't reality. So where else can we take this concept? And this is where it starts to get really interesting. So if the map is not the territory, what other things do we have mapped over reality that are restricting us, right? That are blocking us off from realizing a greater potential, and it could be, this map, I got this map from my parents, which love them to death for it. All they wanted was for me to be successful, comfortable, and all that. But I got this map. Many of you have probably had it, that you should go to school, get good grades. You should be, exposed to extracurricular activities. You should be able to do as many things as you can. After you get good grades, that's going to get you into college. Now, when you're in college, you got to get good grades there and pick something specific to focus on. After you've graduated college with good grades, now you're going to get a job. Now that you go and you get the job, you work for, in my case, the government, federal government. And, I immediately got there and I'm like, okay, now what? I was told this is what I wanted, but it's not. And so I followed this map of, I have this way that I can be successful. I can thrive in the United States of America by working for the government as an air traffic controller. And I am paid enough money that I'm going to be comfortable. I'm not going to be really ever stressing about money. I can live within my means there. And the same map was provided for my sister, and she works as a public school teacher. So significantly different salary, but she was still set up with the skills. We were both still set up with the skills. And a map that I still use from my parents is how to say budget and how to think about not overextending myself with debt or credit or really anything like that. So now if we move this map that I have, if we don't use it anymore, take this map of go to school, get good grades, go to college, get good grades, get a job, and then, buy a house, whatever else is in that American dream. Take that, throw it out the window. Now what? This map was developed, first off, for what reason? We got this map given to us because our parents or society thought that this was the best way for us to be successful. Unfortunately, the map came from, the Industrial Revolution era, right? Factory workers. Well, now we have the internet. Now that you're able to watch this coming directly to you online, those jobs don't really make sense anymore. And showing up, for 8 hours sometimes doesn't make sense. And let's be honest, there are a lot of jobs are still necessary. We're not to a point where automation has gotten far enough that we can automate a lot of these jobs. But if they're not fulfilling, right? If this map that we already threw away is no longer serving me, what other options do I have? And now, after reading and studying a lot, I decided to take this map, slide it into my dashboard, put it over everything that is an entrepreneur and a creator. And so this is actually, I'm so happy that I get to bring this video to you because I'm just now starting. This is day one actually of bringing out videos, 30 straight days, 30 days back to back, creating content. I'm going to have these videos clipped up and reduced so that way they really look amazing and sharp and, are to the point, because people's attention spans, of course, are small. So what else? Is there anything else that you can think of that shows that the map is not the territory? Is there anything else that you have that, you now realize this doesn't make sense, how we thought about this before? So I would really challenge you to think about assumptions, think about beliefs that you've had for a long time. You could think about beliefs that you like or you don't like. You could think about beliefs that serve you or don't serve you, right? And so the beliefs that I have about myself, they all serve me. I went through and spent some time getting rid of or rewriting the beliefs that I had that were limiting. And so now, as I'm growing, as I'm building, as I'm creating, this is all coming to me easily, and I'm allowed to set you guys up with something like this. So I'd love to hear what you guys think. I'd love to hear an example from you of when you've experienced the map not being the territory.